Hello, in the following GURPS combat example I will pit a hill giant against a trio of human soldiers. In D&D, the height of giants is all over the place across different editions, but this particular giant is 13 feet tall, which corresponds to size modifier +2, taking up 4 hexes on the map. He is wielding a massive club that deals huge damage even with the reduced swing damage variant rule that I'm using. The soldiers are comprised of 2 swordsmen and 1 pikeman. I was basing them on the castle units from Heroes of Might and Magic 3. All of them have some armor, but the swordsmen are better armored than the pikemen. Also, they have light-medium shields. The pikeman, however, has huge reach. All the soldiers have skill 14 in their main attacks, while the giant is clumsy, it only has skill 11. Let's see how it all goes. The soldiers go first as their basic speed is higher. Since their basic speed is equal and their dexterity is equal, I'll have to determine the order randomly. I rolled a die and determined that the pikeman will go first, then the swordsman and then the hill giant. The pikeman has the reach mastery perk that allows swapping reach of his pike between 4 and 5 yards as a free action. He chooses reach 5, takes a single step, and stabs the giant in his right leg. Reach 5 is huge. He rolls 17, this is not a critical failure but a normal failure, as the effective skill was 16, still it's a miss. One of the swordsmen carefully moved around one of the pillars. The other one that started behind the giant charges in and does a move and attack against the giant's leg. Unfortunately for him, he misses. The giant takes a step back, turns around and tries to smack the swordsman with a club. Despite being between 2 pillars, he can swing his weapon, as this is an outdoors arena, so there's enough vertical clearance. He does it as a committed attack determined. Due to the long reach of the club, the restrictions from the rules for combat at different levels are less harsh, so the giant targets the torso. The hill giant lands a potential hit. The swordsman cannot parry because he did a move and attack on his turn, and he is at -3 to defenses due to the height differences. He opts for a block. The block is successful and even the shield is not damaged. You know, GURPS has rules for parrying heavy weapons but no rules for blocking heavy weapons. I looked at some stuff on the forums and on the blogs and found a blog post by Peter Del Orto with house rules for that. Even if you use them, this is a valid block. I'll link the post in the description if you're interested. The pikeman takes another step forward and tries to stab the giant in the leg. Due to the height difference and distance, the giant is at +3 to defend. However, he is also at -2 for performing a committed attack. He fails to dodge and the pikeman rolls damage. I decide to use the optional rule from GURPS martial arts. I roll 1d and if I roll 1, then this attack hits the artery in the leg. And I do roll a 1. So basically this is the best possible outcome aside from a good critical hit. The artery hit increased the wounding multiplier by 0.5, so it becomes 1.5 for a limb hit. This results in 9 points of injury. This isn't even a major wound, but still quite a big chunk of HP lost. One of the swordsmen charges in as an all-out attack determined. He wants to finish what the pikeman started, cripple the leg. He will target the same leg, intentionally opting for an artery hit at an additional -3. The hill giant may dodge, even though he is at +3 for height differences. He is at -2 for a side attack, -2 for a committed attack, and a -1 for a repeated dodge attempt. He fails to dodge, and the swordsman rolls damage. Yet again, thanks to a very lucky damage roll and enhanced wounding multiplier, this deals a massive amounts of damage. And this is where I realized that I'm retarded, and artery hits ignore crippling effects, so the intent to cripple the leg and topple the giant doesn't work here. However, the giant is reeling now, which is a big plus to the humans. But you know, since this still seems like a viable tactic, the other swordsman will simply step in and make a telegraphic attack at the leg artery. The hill giant will attempt to dodge. The swordsman rolls damage and again gets the maximum possible result. The dice hate the giant. The wounded giant will turn around and smash the swordsman that went all out as a telegraphic attack. First he rolls against HD to stay conscious. Then he rolls an attack and just makes it. Since the swordsman cannot defend, the giant rolls damage. The swordsman is knocked 2 yards back, but remains standing thanks to a good dexterity roll. However, this is still a major wound, so he also has to roll HT. He fails it, so he is knocked down and stunned. The pikeman takes another step to reduce the effective height difference. Now he is able to target the torso and the vitals, and that's what he does. The giant tries to dodge and fails. The pikeman rolls damage and deals a whopping 15 points of injury. This is still not a major wound, but it still requires a knockdown roll, which the hill giant succeeds on, and remains standing. The knockdown swordsman recovers from stun, but he is still unable to act. The other swordsman attacks the leg artery again as a telegraphic attack. The giant dodges, and he rolls a critical success. A critical success on a defense roll against a melee attack turns the opponent's attack into a critical miss, so the swordsman drops his weapon. But then the hill giant fails his roll to stay conscious and passes out. Well, that was a bit anticlimactic. As you can see, there is a reason why giants usually are accompanied by a band of goblinoids or orcs. Being outnumbered sucks in real life, and it sucks in GURPS. The opponents can surround you, penalize your defenses, and the pesky pikeman can exploit his huge reach to stab you in all the vulnerable places. However, when giants hit, they hit very hard. While that single hit wasn't fatal, it still sent the swordsman flying into the negatives, effectively neutralizing him. Many say that GURPS is overly lethal, but it isn't really true. It's relatively easy to get disabled in GURPS, but actually dying is much more difficult. Also, we took a look at all the height difference rules that always come up when fighting giants. I hope you found it enjoyable, so thank you for watching, I will see you next time, and I guess Happy New Year to everyone!